2 Walmart-sized AI data centers are being built every week in America. And here's what it actually looks like on the ground. Picture this, a private equity firm in Virginia just broke ground on $150 million data center. They put down only $15 million of their own money, which is just 10%, and they borrowed the other $135 million. Half of that loan came from banks. The other half, it came from Microsoft, the very company that is supposed to rent the space when it's done. Now here's the bet. Microsoft signed a 10-year lease. Pay rent like clockwork, and everyone makes money. The builder gets paid, the bank gets their interest, and Microsoft gets the compute power to run their AI models. But here's the problem that nobody's talking about. If AI data center slows down, if the hype doesn't match the reality, Microsoft can walk away. And when they do, the builder is stuck with $135 million in debt and a giant concrete box that cannot be turned into anything else. You cannot convert a data center into apartments. You cannot lease it as office space. It's worthless. And it isn't just happening once. This is happening every week across Virginia Data Center Alley, across Texas, across the entire country. Now, most people think AI is a guaranteed winner, so they assume that is fine. But that's exactly why they're missing the silent domino. Because here's what's actually happening. 80% of US stock gain this year came from AI companies. But the infrastructure holding them up, the actual physical building where AI runs, is being built using the same financial playbook as the 2008 housing crisis. And here's the kicker. Your retirement fund, it's buying the bonds from these projects. They are rated A, supposedly safe enough for grandma's pension, but they're paying 12% interest. Now, if you know anything about finance, you know the safe bond don't pay 12%. Junk bond pays 12%. And why are these safe investment paying junk rates? Because the lenders know something the average investor doesn't. Hi everyone, my name is Ravi and I specialize in exposing financial black holes before they swallow people's savings. Today we are doing a deep dive into the AI infrastructure boom. A market is being fueled by trillions of dollars in borrowed money that could quietly drain your retirement without even seeing it coming. So here's what you're going to learn in this video. How Wall Street is slicing up AI to hide the risk, why Oracle's credit market is screaming danger right now, and why an AI collapse won't look like 2008 with bank runs and chaos. Instead, it'll be a slow, quiet bleed that makes your 401k stagnate for a decade. Alright, let's just talk about how Wall Street is packaging these risks. They take these data center loans, remember, project where builders borrow 90% of the money, and they bundle them together. Then they slice them into different layers and sell them as bonds. The top layer gets an A rating. That means pension funds can buy them. Your teacher's retirement fund, your parents' 401k, they can see the A rating and think it's a safe investment. But here's the catch. These bonds are paying 8 to 12% interest. In the bond world, that's screaming high risk. Safe bond pay 4 to 5%. Corporate bonds from stable companies pay somewhere around 6%. When you're getting 12%, the market is telling you something is wrong. So why the disconnect? Because if Microsoft and Google stop paying rent on these buildings, the loan defaults. And when that happens, the bond becomes worthless. That's why they're paying so much, because deep down, the lenders know this is risky. But the A rating tricks the pension fund into buying anyway. The Oracle warning. Now we don't have to speculate about whether this is risky. We can look at the market right now and see the warning signs. Take Oracle. They are one of the biggest players in the game, borrowing billions to build data centers specifically for OpenAI. And recently, something scary happened. The cost to insure Oracle's debt, something called credit default swaps, tripled to levels we haven't seen since 2009. Let me put that in context. 2009 was the peak of the financial crisis. Banks were collapsing. When Oracle's insurance costs hit 2009 level, the market is saying, we think there's a chance Oracle doesn't get paid back. And why wouldn't they? OpenAI is burning through billions of dollars of cash with almost no profit. So if OpenAI cannot pay rent, Oracle cannot pay back their loans. And if Oracle cannot pay back their loans, those safe bonds your pension fund bought becomes worthless. That's your warning signal, and it's flashing red right now. But here's where it gets really weird. Remember how I said tech companies are lending money to the builders? That creates this circular dependency that's actually insane when you think about it. Here's how it works. Microsoft lends money to a builder to construct a data center. That builder uses the loan to buy equipment, hire contractors, and finish the project. Then Microsoft rents the space and pays the builder. The builder uses that rent money to pay back Microsoft's loan. So what's happening? If Microsoft decides they don't need as much computing power, they stop paying rent. The builder cannot make their loan payments. The bond gets downgraded to junk, and suddenly every other builders who were counting on cheap loans to finish their projects cannot borrow anymore. That's your domino effect. One company pulling back triggers a chain reaction across thousands of projects. And because these are massive multi-year construction projects, you cannot just pause them. You either finish or you default. The fourth one is the repurposing problem. And here's the part that makes this worse than 2008. In the housing crisis, when someone couldn't pay their mortgage, the bank foreclosed and resold the house. Sure, they took a loss, but they got something back. Some families still needed a place to live. But with data center, there's no backup plan. You cannot repurpose them. They're not designed for anything except running servers at massive scales. So if there's no AI demand, the building just sits there, empty, worthless. And because of that, when these loans default, the recovery rate is basically zero. The bank and the bondholders loses everything. And guess whose pension fund owns those bonds? Yours. Now a lot of people hear this and immediately thinks, oh, this is 2008 all over again. But it's not. And understanding the difference is crucial. The myth is this will crash the bank and cause another financial crisis. But here's the reality. In 2008, the bank held all the mortgage on their balance sheet. When housing market collapsed, it nearly destroyed them. But this time, the bank learned. They're passing the risk off the private credit funds, pension funds, and sovereign wealth funds. So if this blows up, you won't see lines around the block at the local bank. You won't see emergency bailouts on the news. Instead, you will just log onto your retirement account one day and realize it hasn't grown in years. That's the quiet collapse. No drama, no headlines, just a slow erosion of wealth. Now, here's the twist, and this is actually important. Some people compare this to the 90s dot-com bubble, but back then, telecom companies laid thousands of miles of fiber optics cable during the internet boom. Then the bubble burst, and everyone said those cables were a massive waste of money. But you know what? Those useless cable became the backbone of modern internet. They're the only reason you can stream this video right now. That's why we have cloud computing, why we have Netflix, and why the entire digital economy exists. So even if the AI bubble pops, and it might, the infrastructure could still end up being essential. Maybe not for what we think AI will do today, but for whatever comes next. That's the non-obvious take everyone is missing. Alright, let's bring it all together. We are building AI infrastructure at an absolutely insane pace. And it's being funded by massive leverage, 90% borrowed money in most cases. Those safe, A-rated bonds hiding in your pension fund, they're actually junk level risk. That could cost you a decade of retirement savings. On top of that, the credit markets are already warning us. Oracle's borrowing costs are at 2009 crisis level, which means the smart money knows something is wrong. And while this probably won't crash the global banking system, it's setting up for a quiet, long-term financial bleed. That most people won't see until it's too late. Look, the world rewards people who see reality instead of buying into hype. And that's exactly what this channel is about. Cutting through the noise to show you what's really happening with money and power. So if you want to stay ahead of Silent Domino, hit that like button and subscribe for weekly deep dives into the financial mechanics that nobody else is talking about. And here's my question to you. Do you think these data centers actually justify the massive debt being taken on right now? Or are we just setting ourselves up to repeat the mistake of 2008? Let me know in the comment below.